I believe that the Cavs have found a hidden gem that could develop well in the G League after some solid performances, but more some very entertaining and high elite level play style that I feel like will lead this player to be very, very solid. At least in 2 years, I think that this guy could be on the main roster of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But who is this player? What did he do in the summer league that impressed me? And what will he do in the future with the Cavaliers? I'm Mobley and Jarrett Cavs Digest. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And there's been a lot of content coming out just surrounding, I know a lot surrounding LeBron, but also Darius creating some storylines about some specific players to watch out for next season while I'm covering the summer league as much as I can and a lot of LeBron stuff, as well as I think there's another player that I want to talk about in the summer league after I talk about this one. So we'll get into that as soon as possible. But before we get into that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, as 68% of you are not subscribed. And I do think that you guys should hit the subscribe button and join us here on Cavs Digest and see what is going on with everything, all things Cavs. Obviously, the Cavs have extended their managers. I made a video on that. And then Darius just talked about Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, and made a video on DeAndre Hunter. And I'm here to talk about Mr. Where is it? There it is. Salu Niang, who is, I'm pretty sure say his first name, Salu Niang. No, not Georges Niang, Salu Niang, who the Cavs drafted late in the second round with their second pick of the draft. This player stood out to me with after his 10-point performance in the first game of the Summer League. In Game 3 of the Summer League, he went out and got 11 boards. So there's a couple things that he did very, very well. But the one thing that stands out to me is his play style. He does seem very, maybe a little unorganized, which I think can develop in a couple years. But what he does really, really well is attack the paint. And his play style overall and his aggressiveness, I think, leads to him having a very, very great future with the Cavaliers. At least I'm hoping for that. So we'll see. We'll just kind of watch him play. This was, one of the highlights that came against the Bucks. This incredibly crafty reverse layup that I saw multiple times after it happened. Just a very overall impressive player. I think when you watch him play, you kind of see his high IQ on both sides of the court, and that's what I like the most. His attacking glass, as you see there, draw the foul. Again, drive, draw the foul. That's one thing that he's very, very good at, just being able to drive and attack. He's also covers so much ground. He's a very lengthy forward. That's a great passer. He's a very lengthy forward. And that's something I think he can bring a lot to because he can help with the rebounding. Now, I know these stats are going to be slightly hard to see, but if you see on the far right side, 11 rebounds that he had, 4 rebounds, 5 rebounds. I know his scoring 6, 7, and 10 doesn't stand out, but we're talking about a guy that was giving 20, 22, 24 minutes, grabbing 11 boards, shooting 50% from the field. I love what this guy does. He's very, very physical. And yes, he is a little undersized when it looks at like his arm length or his arm size. Like he doesn't seem like the strongest player, but overall, like he is a very, very physical player. And I think that just developing muscle could come over time. Like Giannis, I'm not comparing him to Giannis, no, but he has a similar build to Giannis when Giannis was younger and thinner. And now Giannis had a really, really aggressive play style, but wasn't strong enough to be elite. And then once he got super, super strong, he became an elite player. So that's what I could see from Mr. Niang. And it's not just me that thinks Niang is going to be pretty, pretty good. I've definitely seen over X that a lot of people are confident in Mr. Niang. But this is what Mike Gandy said on Salu Niang. Big credit to Primo Brezic and Igor Tadic, our 2 international scouts. They've been following him since he was 15. He is 21, but in basketball years, he's probably 18 or 19. That is a little concerning. I don't like what Gandy said at the end because, yeah, he might be 18 or 19 basketball years because you drafted him from overseas and he's never played in the NBA. But overall, he still is 21 years old. Like, he still is an older rookie. And I think that he could definitely develop into a elite 23-year-old in about 2 years. I think that if you let him remain in the G League, and that's the biggest thing, I think if the Cavs let him develop in the G League, you could have a guy that could get pulled up in the roster 2 years. I'm hoping they don't let it slide like Amani Bates. I'm hoping that they don't let it slide like some other guys in the past. I want to see guys like Niang who show physical play styles develop, and because that's the biggest thing that the Cavs need. They need guys that are willing to be physical and guys that, like Niang, who drive to the paint and draw fouls. That's so impressive, and I love the way Niang plays. This is from Mike Perry on Twitter. There was a lot of replies to this Twitter post. Salu Niang could be a great addition in 1 to 2 years if he continues to develop and is actually brought over. Of course, in case you're wondering, he is a draft and stash player. So what that means is that basically you have the rights to the player, but essentially, there's a chance that he doesn't play or he goes to overseas and plays for a different EuroLeague, but you still have all the rights to him. So no matter what, like he could play in the G League or he could play overseas. I've heard some rumors that he's going to go play somewhere for a year or two, and then the Cavs might just pull him up. The thing is draft and stash players are very, very interesting because the Thunder had some and they won the championship. Draft and stash players give you a lot of leeway on how you can develop your future, because if you were to draft and stash a player and this player breaks out, then boom, welcome to the NBA, welcome to my team. And you don't have to waste a roster spot on him. You don't really have to play him in your G League. So if you don't want Niang to play in your G League, if you don't want Niang to play on your main roster, as of right now, you can let him develop in 1 to 2 years on a EuroLeague team and then just bring him on in a couple years. And then if you want to let him play in the G League, you could do that as well. So I think that there is a lot of potential for what to do with the draft and stash. Again, it's good that he's getting stashed, so you don't need him to play, but it's good that you drafted him and stashed him so you have the rights to him. And that's what makes sense to me, is that it's a win-win to have a draft and stash with a guy like Niang. Because the guy that they drafted beforehand, who I don't have a picture of, but Tyrese Proctor, was not really standing out as a good performer overall in the Summer League. I think I'm going to make a video on him, but he did just have an absolute outbreak of a game, although it was under 50%. Like there's some guys that didn't stand out in the G League. Of course, there is one more player in the G League that played very, very well. But again, today's video is specifically focused on Niang. So we watched him play, and the biggest thing about him is that he doesn't shoot the ball, and that's a little concerning. Again, this guy is literally he's like the Matthew Dellavedova of Giannis Antetokounmpo's. Does that make sense? That I think that's a decent comparison, right? Like a guy that's aggressive and wants to attack the grass, kind of got a DeMar DeRozan slashing style, a Giannis slashing style, not a Giannis slashing success, right? Just wants to be lengthy and go down the court and try to draw fouls and just try to get buckets. But he also is a pretty solid passer, and that's what I like. Of course, the 1-for-4 shooting, 4-for-9 shooting is not anything impressive. I'm not saying that this guy is going to be an elite on the roster this year. I'm saying that this guy in game one, and his rebounding ability and his physicality ability, 3 assists, 11 boards, and 6 points is a really, really solid game from a Summer League guy who the Cavs might have had high hopes on, but we as fans did not know too much about, except that he played overseas. I think that this guy could really, really develop into something good in 2 years. And that's why I call him a hidden gem, is that I believe that in a couple years, this will be a secret weapon for the Cavaliers in the future. So let me know what you guys think about Mr. Niang. I think that this guy's a lot of potential with the Cavaliers, and I think that I loved his performances in the G League, and I love the way he played specifically. I think that he is a secret hidden gem for the Cavaliers. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends. I'm Altman. Thank you guys for joining me here on Cavs Digest.